coming right in front. It's brave. So thank you guys all for coming. And I'd like to ask a question. How many of you guys have been to a Women in Tech event before? Yay! That's actually a really strong show. Who's the first timer?
Woohoo! Lots of cherries. That's a lot of cherries. Oh wait, let him do it again. I missed that shot. Okay, do it again. Woo!
Thank you guys all for coming. To give you guys a rundown about how these events work, we hold them quarterly to keep you guys always wanting a little bit more, but also as a way to get you guys to see other companies. And right now we're at the Iron Yard, and a huge thank you to Betsy and her team here at the Iron Yard for hosting us tonight. Thanks for letting us just drop in and use these space. It's great. And I also wanted to thank our main sponsor for the night, Grayson Thomas. It's our first law firm sponsorship, but that's okay. Callies right here, should be speaking. So really nice to see the attorney in the room, also an attorney, so I understand. But a huge thank you to Grayson for Iron Yard making this happen. If it wasn't for the companies in the area who keep supporting us, we couldn't keep doing this. So I also want to say thank you to those who sponsor us on GoFundMe campaign. We still have it ongoing. We've raised about $3,700, so thank you so much.
It does not work.
It's a year-long goal for us, so if we can get there, it'll be awesome. But it does help just to kind of keep the lights on, if you will. So for the first timers, what we typically do is I'll make a few announcements, some things that are going on, some awesome things in women in tech. And then we have a little panel discussion up front with a couple guest speakers that will talk to you guys tonight, give you their perspectives about the tech industry, about what they've personally dealt with growing up in a tech industry that is typically majority male. And after that, we'll have a couple breakout sessions. This time, we're going to have our guest speakers downstairs. You can pick their brains some more, and we'll also have the expertise of the Iron Yard staff talking about iOS. But first off, I do want to give Grayson Thomas a chance to talk to us tonight. And we have Callie Campbell here. Come up and say a few words. And they've got some interesting things working on. They're kind of a new age law firm.
We are. We're very new age. But it's always the lawyer that stands in between people doing what they're doing and what they want to do. So that's perfectly what I'm doing right now.
Well said.
A little bit about our firm. I'm very excited about our firm, actually. We started around Thanksgiving in 2013. We've grown from 3 lawyers to 8 thus far. I'm a partner there, and we have 3 partners, 2 of which are female. So I completely understand and appreciate and support all the female entrepreneurs that are here tonight. We basically serve as an outside general counsel to companies that are focused in healthcare, technology, and academics. And a lot of times those sectors intersect, and some of the areas that I'm most passionate about are where healthcare and IT converge, and do a lot of work with health information exchanges and software licensing. So, our firm, we're also actually we're exploring ways that as a law firm we can facilitate and make easier what all of you do. And one thing that we're hoping to launch within the next year is a company called Copycat. And basically, in a nutshell, what Copycat allows is tech companies to file for copyright registrations automatically through their GitHub repository. So look for that. I'm not going to get into all the details because I will say something that doesn't make sense. But that's what we're about, and I'm really excited to be here tonight and get to know more of y'all. And with that, I will shut up. So thank you.
Awesome. So one thing I wanted to mention, I think I mentioned it briefly at the last one, but you guys want to go through me, so anyway, it's fine. We've been working on a side project, kind of a spin-off, if you will, from Women in Tech called Powerhouse. And what Powerhouse is a for-profit company that is going to recruit, help train, and help place women in the local industry.
Hallelujah.
Yes. And not only that, we're not going to take any money from you. We're actually going to pay you to do it. And we have our first group accountability set to start in the next week or so, which is super exciting. We're very, very close to getting some contracts locally with some amazing companies in town. And I wanted to introduce Amy Piazza, who's on the back. And raise your hand if you're part of the first Powerhouse team. Stand up if you will. Yeah. One hand. best ladies in the room, and I'm going to throw them out there, even though they haven't started yet. But if you would like to talk to them kind of about what they're about to embark on, even though you might not quite know. There's going to be a strenuous amount of training, education, not only in software development, but also in leadership and business skills. We're preparing these women to be as powerhouse of an employee, if you will, as they can be. So we want to stop or help the statistics. 45% of women in their first year will drop out as a tech developer, as a software developer, or in the tech industry. 45% is a huge number, and that is the 24% of women that actually enter the industry now, looking at almost half, will be gone in year one. So Powerhouse aims to stop that. We have a year-long program that helps to assist women, train them at a very high level, prepare them as best as we can to excel and have longevity within the partner company that they get placed with. So we're super excited about it. We've moved really, really fast to get where we are today. It's very emotional. We've worked very hard to get where we are today in a very, very short amount of time. So we can't wait to get started, and hopefully have more women join our team as well. So we're always recruiting. If you're interested in learning more about Powerhouse, come find myself tonight or Amy, who's actually designing all the curriculum, and she's the tech brain behind it. I'm just the other brain. But I'm happy to talk with you about it. And we're constantly recruiting more women on board our teams. I have my cards around too, so if you're interested in learning more about Powerhouse and how you can get involved, come find us. So with that, there's one event starting we're having next month, August 23rd. So all of our events are free. And again, thank you to those who GoFundMe that helped for tonight's event and future events. Our first guinea pig of a paid event is going to be next month, August 23rd. I'm going to send the information about it tomorrow. We're going to cap it at 50 people, and it's going to be housed and sponsored by eHouse Studios. The topic of the event is going to be adapting to change and how to adjust to technology. So like I said, we'll be limiting this event to 50 people. It's going to have some awesome guest speakers from eHouse, hopefully eGroup, and a couple other companies in town. But all the information will go out tomorrow, hopefully before the long weekend. And again, capped at 50, so as you can see with the turnout, it'll probably sell out really fast, and we hope you guys can join us next month, or August. I want to give you guys an update on Code On. Code On is our, Code On is our education program that we help to get more education in our neighborhoods. So coding in our neighborhoods, or Code On. And Nina's been working very, very hard on this effort.
Yeah.
Kind of give an update.
I just want to thank everybody who's been helping us. We launched, I guess, about five months ago. Yeah. We are at Laundry Matters, which is a laundromat on Reed Street near America Street. I want to thank People Matter for donating all of the computers for this, except for we got one from Spark. And they're beautiful computers that the kids can come. The basic idea is that the computers live at the laundromat. The kids can come every Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30, and we teach them code from age 5 to 19. It's free. They can come. I want to thank our incredible volunteers from Benefit Focus, Kate Wilson and Anissa Williams, who have been leading the charge. We got some, there's Kate. She's leading the charge. When we start with, hourofcode.org, we've got CS First, we've got, anything that would adapt to the child's interest and ability to learn. So this is time that the kids can have in front of a computer, exposing them to computer science that otherwise they don't get, for the most part. And like I said, it's free. We are always looking for volunteers. Like I said, it's an hour of time on a Tuesday afternoon. And we generally get anywhere from 3 to 20 kids. It depends on the day. And we even have a terrific Code On curriculum that's specifically created by one of our friends, Lucas Crawford, who teaches at the Voyager Charter School, that whenever the kids come back, they have their own account. And they can also go to the library if they want to, and use the library computers and get online and work on their project if they want to, wherever they are. So we're trying to make sure that there's equity in learning around computer science. We hope to be doing this in other community centers and neighborhoods, and also we want to go into churches. So we'll be letting you guys know if any tech company has a laptop that they no longer need, we can work work with Soteria and get it wiped clean so that we can use it without having to take the hard drive out. But please let me know if you guys, any tech company or school that has laptops that they don't need anymore, will take them. Thank you.
Okay, so tonight we're joined by an awesome team from Qonceptual, Mindy Taylor and Alex Castelli, if you guys want to. Come on. So Mindy is the CEO of Qonceptual, and they're a software development company that designs, builds products to run mobile and connected devices for commercial government clients. So Mindy worked for a while for AOL.
No, but I did pitch to Steve Gates, the founder of AOL. I did not work for him, though. I was not responsible for sending this little disc across the country.
She's since spoken at the White House, so congrats on that. And on her free time enjoys building furniture, reading obscure philosophers, and dreaming about buying a boat. We'll talk to you about fully on that. And then also Alex Castelli. I know Alex well. She started at the College of Charleston when she graduated, or during when she was at the CMC. She worked with me on CodeCamp at the Charleston Corridor. When I left to have a baby, she took over, ran the program better than I ever could have, and has moved on to Qonceptual as well as an application security engineer. Yes. Yes. So I wanted to bring them up here today. They both have different backgrounds and different professions within the same company, but to give you guys a perspective of two strong female leaders that we can all look up to and to hear their stories. And for those of you who are just starting out in the tech industry, they can look up to Alex, well, maybe too. But Alex is someone who's just been in the industry now for 2 years, a year, roughly, yeah. So out of college, but in the real world for about a year or so. And Mindy is someone who's been around a little bit longer than that. So perfect, great perspective. So I have a couple of questions for both of you guys, and we'll just kind of run through. And, if you guys have any questions and you want to interrupt me, feel free, raise your hand. You can ask the panel. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so Mindy Taylor, CEO at Qonceptual. I grew up in this state, in South Carolina. I don't have much of a southern accent anymore. Academia kind of weaned it out of me. So I grew up in Columbia. I have an undergraduate degree from a small liberal arts college in East Tennessee called Charleston Women College. Degree in communications, in religious studies, and philosophy. I have a graduate degree in philosophy, and now I'm in technology, so of course it's a lot of but it's interesting that you kind of bring up maybe new, so like I'm actually very new to the technology field. So I've been working in tech now for 3.5 years exactly. So it took me a long time in kind of the academic world to figure out that this is kind of where I wanted to be. So I think what's really interesting about tech is that there is no kind of fit or formula for what that looks like. So,
I started coding my junior year of high school. I had a friend that wanted to take computer science, and I didn't want to take French anymore. So I ended up going into computer science thinking it was going to be like learning about Word, Excel, how to use formulas and stuff. Like, I'm good with computers, that's fine. And it was Introduction to Java, and I hated it every day of it. I had to go in every morning to see my teacher, and he was a very interesting guy. But anyway, it got me hooked after a year of it, and ended up taking my senior year and then doing computer science at College of Charleston. I started interning underneath Carolyn at CodeCamp, and everything just kind of fit in as soon as that happened. I started getting into women in tech, and I actually got 2 job offers through Women in Tech events, so it was definitely good that you're here. And everything just fell into place and found my home at Qonceptual, and just been happy ever since.
Awesome. Let's go a little more detail about how you got to the position you are at today. So especially for Mindy, how did you go from philosophy major and just kind of now 3.5 years in tech? How did that transition happen?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's interesting when you think about the humanities, and as whether you we're educated in tech or the humanities at all, but what the humanities does is kind of gives you a sense of adaptability, right? It teaches you how to think. And on a certain side of tech, the code is incredibly important, but we also have to imagine how that's going to be used on a day-to-day basis, right? Like how are people actually going to experience that? And these are important questions. And I think what's happening now in the 21st century is people are realizing the power that the humanities have over technology and how much that's needed in the conversation. So that really shaped me getting to the position I am, in combination with kind of coming to Charleston and getting connected in the tech field and really just kind of hustling, right? I mean, that's like a cliche term to use, but predominantly it was about coming here, learning from people who knew more than me, and really taking the time to like sit down with mentors, building up a network of people who had been there and done that before I could, and really kind of like having an ear to what they have to say. So the narrative up until that point for me, for this position, every opportunity that I've gotten to do has been predicated on those two things, on the adaptability of the liberal arts, and then just the ability to kind of make those connections and listen to people who essentially are smarter than you, who are more than you, and more experienced than you. So.
Mindy's job track sounds much more calculated than mine. So when I was interning underneath Carolyn, she started Women in Tech. So I joined the MeetUp group, and at first our first event was like, what, 30 people, 40 people, and now it's like over 100. It's crazy. But someone reached out to me just from the MeetUp group. We didn't even meet at the event, and it was for a QA job. And so I started working there part-time on top of CodeCamp, and it was great, but it wasn't some place that I left every day saying, like, I love my job. And I was going to work there full-time after graduation. It just didn't really seem like the pieces fit. So at the next Women in Tech that I went to, I talked to Kendall Wyman, who's a recruiter at Wyman Mill. And she said, you know, send us our resumes in one of our breakout sessions. Like, feel free to do any of that. And so I really reached out to her, and she extended the most kind responses. She worked back and forth with me for like 6 or 7 resume drafts, and for a week long, until I had one that was just fantastic, and I was so proud to take to people. And she got me hooked up with Qonceptual through Leanne Scully, who is very close friends with the people that started Qonceptual. So I ended up leaving the other job and coming over to Qonceptual and interning for a month, and then I started full time. And then Carolyn left CodeCamp, and then I took over CodeCamp. So
Killing it, by the way.
It all just kind of happened, and Qonceptual is awesome. I've been able to work on multiple different projects, commercial side, government side. I started on there doing QA and told them I wanted to go into dev, and they immediately got me in the code base doing work. I was doing QA, and then I started actually implementing new functionalities, and that was really cool. I didn't know Angular at all. They taught me that. It was just fantastic. And then I got to go over to the government side and do application security, which is where I am now. So I've gotten to do front-end, back-end security, and just dabble in everything, and it's just been the best opportunity. So people ask me, like, where am I going to go in 5 years? I have no idea. Things just keep on happening, so I'm just going to take them as they come. And Qonceptual keeps on handing me new things, so as they hand me new challenges, I just take them.
So Alex kind of touched on this, but so Mindy, what's like a day in the life for you? What do you handle doing?
Oh man. Well, we're a small company. We're like a scrappy kind of startup. We don't have, like, we're very engineering focused. So like our priority is bringing on really talented people like Alex, and it's really easy to throw things at something like this because you have the talent and the hustle to kind of like get them done. And I'm not blowing smoke your way. So like on the business side of things, you know, we kind of, we're all it's nothing particular, right? So it can start the day, whether it's going over a product release with my engineers, kind of talking through things with clients and making sure what we're delivering the tech side really speaks to what they're requesting. So I love that conversation back and forth. I love the argument back and forth with engineers, because who's an engineer in this room? Raise your hand. Okay. You guys, I love you, but you're very particular people. Like, everything is done a certain way. And so what's really beautiful about our model is the conversation that happens between the two of those, of like having those conversations between the product team and really kind of making sure we deliver a product that the client's really going to love, and then on to deciding on our next new office space, on to taking out the trash because you do anything and everything, on to, you know, negotiating a new partnership, you know. It's kind of anything and everything in our model, so it's just be humble.
Different kind of question, but do you guys think there is a gender gap in the tech industry? Just a loaded question. If so, how do you think it affects, you know, being in the tech industry, working in the dominated?
There absolutely is a gap. When I started my first computer science class, I was the only female in my class for 2 years. So it started out like that. So I just kind of got used to it because I've been going through school for 6 years, and I'm maybe one of 5 ever, even through college classes, so was ever a female in my class. Now I work in a dungeon with 20 people, and there are 3 of us girls. I like the dungeon again. So there absolutely is a gap, but I mean, I don't feel like it's really been a hard point to deal with. I think the biggest thing for me was that I always felt like I was less than them because I didn't know as much, and I was like scared to ask the questions like, oh, well, how does that work? Why do you do that in that way? And it was more about building up the confidence to feel like you could ask those questions and you could understand those answers. So not until I really started doing CodeCamp and doing more front-end development through going through those classes and working there and learning more did I feel like I could actually contribute to conversations that my classmates were having. And at that point I started to become a little bit more comfortable in my classes, but not really sure that it was because of the male difference. It was just, the only thing about the males is that they talk about a lot of stuff. So it's important to have a good humor, and you can always say like, there's a line, just so you know, like I know it's pretty blurred, but there is one. But as long as you just have good humor, it's okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting you talk about the gender gap. I think that definitely is absolutely, there's a gap, and I think primarily it's about how are you going to approach that gap and what's your attitude going to be about that, right? So like, you have to be someone who's going to be a person of action, right? So like, I'm very stubborn A-type, so when I come across something, I want to think, how can I solve it? Like, what can I do? So the part that's been interesting for me is if you recognize the gap, like what are the creative ways you can think of to deal with that and kind of like poke at it and mess with it. And like, I think a perfect example of this, number one, there's some things you can do is you really need to focus on partnering with men and educating men. No offense, fellas, that's your room, but this is a big part of it. Like the more conversations you're having, the more people you're partnering with to kind of equalize that, you can have some really interesting interactions that allow you to kind of like play with some of those stereotypes. And one of the things I think is really funny, like when you talk about creativity in that realm, is one of the examples that I love. I was talking about this with our founder and Chief Innovation Officer, Dale Stracco, and some of the things he witnesses that I do to just kind of like play with that trope and that stereotype, right? So something as simple as like when we're in a room with clients, and I think they're a little more traditional, maybe we're in the South, like they're more Southern, they've got these, blazers on, right? They're in particular, they think that I'm there to maybe bring them some coffee, right? So to kind of come in and say, play with that a little bit, as we'll come in the room and we'll kind of get around the table, and I'll ask Dale to get up and get the coffee for everybody. And he knows that I'm doing this, and he plays along. He's like, oh, absolutely. He kind of gets up quickly, and it's interesting how like things like that are kind of like this really fun way to like it has such a visible effect. They're like, oh, okay, like wait, I'm confused. Like this is something different. And, like, while it doesn't like shatter any sort of glass ceiling, it at once kind of says that I work with a male that respects me, right? And that in some way, shape, or form, there's some sort of equalizing effort over what the traditional roles are. So like my challenge and the way I like to approach that gap is like instead of kind of like sitting back and feeling like kind of a victim of it, like how do we be proactive and come up with like these unique ways to kind of cope with it?
I love that. I mentioned afterwards we're having a breakout with Mindy and Alex, and we'll be expanding on more of this topic. And she did mention it, and one of the key topics is find supportive males who will collaborate and equalize the gender standard, which I think is a fabulous way of doing it. And typically we have these events to be women only, and slowly we start to introduce more and more males. I always had the bartenders be guys. It's hilarious.
Beautiful.
Thank you guys.
We love them serving us every month.
But with that said, it's super important that it is 75% or more male, and when you get out there, you're going to have to learn what it's like, working close with male supporters. And in Mindy's example, that's a great way where she has a team that's supportive of her and her female staff at Qonceptual to make the accommodation, make the joke, if you will. But those male supporters are going to help change the tide too. So I want to give them one last chance to say the last thoughts or words of inspiration, and we'll kind of head downstairs if you wanted to hear more about their inspire.
That's a lot of pressure.
Any last words, or what inspires you even? Anything that you can hand out advice for the group?
I would just say this. I'm going to share my most memorable experience at Women in Tech. Well, I went to a breakout session, and it was like really high-level people like Black Bob and Benefit Focus, and I was about to start my job at Qonceptual, so I was fresh fish, and I was super nervous to go in there. And I got them in there and I said, well, you know, I'm really scared to start this new job. Like, I need to be making contributions tomorrow. Like, I want to prove myself that I'm going to be there and that they did the right thing by hiring me. And I'm pretty sure I talked even faster than I just did. And they were like, oh, like, they hired you because you deserve to be there. And it was great to have strong women to look up to and share that experience with. And it made me more confident going there. It's like, you're right. Like, they hired me to teach me, and they saw something in me, and so they knew that I was going to be a hard worker and be there. And for that reason, I keep on coming back to work with tech. So.
Yeah, and I would say too is like, I guess there's two different questions of what's inspiring and what's kind of like advice as you're starting out in tech. But I think this is the case whether it's tech or any sort of business. Is like, be really proactive about who you want to be in the industry and where you want to go. You can't expect people to just notice that you're able for better than where you're at that moment. Like, you have to kind of sell that case to people. So like, be really tenacious. I mean, you got to be patient. You can't have a sense of entitlement about where to be. Sometimes it takes a while. Like, it took me a while to kind of find my place career-wise. But I think you've got to really kind of think this is your job description and do that, right? Kind of put it to the side and say, like, what can you do above that? Because it's always going to be the person who's willing to do the things that aren't sexy and that aren't contribute to the entire team and not the things they actually want to do. So like, make sure your attitude is at this level that's like, hey, do anything to like show that you want to contribute and be successful. And like, that's where we're lucky to have people like Alex. And this is a good example, you know, pointing at you, is that like, you know, Alex has her job at Qonceptual and does all these amazing things, but she's also this person in the community that shows her involvement and contribution, and also kind of acts as our powerhouse liaison and expresses the kind of like concern and ability to say, I want to contribute in ways that you're not asking of me. And like, that's, I mean, it's incredible. So,
thank you so much. Usually we have this time now for a Q&A with gender equality and all that can get super interesting. So definitely, anything's on the table. You guys ask the questions. We've had some crazy conversations before in the past, and they are helpful and eye-opening. So thank you so much to Qonceptual ladies, Alex and Mindy, for coming tonight. So they'll be downstairs. We also have another awesome topic for those who want to be more dev-focused tonight, but experts from Iron Yard are here. Paul Wood is going to be speaking on the focus on the new Swift playground in iOS, and also sharing, I believe, some demo of the new changes in iOS or an Apple that they've brought out recently and launched recently. So Paul will also be downstairs. So if you guys want to hear about iOS, check that out. If you want to talk about anything you want, philosophy or whatever, Mindy and Alex will be downstairs as well. As I mentioned, I'll be staying up here, and so will Amy. So if you guys want to talk with us about Powerhouse, how to get involved, or any questions about that, we'll be around to talk about that. Again, a huge thank you to the Iron Yard and to Grace and Thomas for keeping the wine and beer flowing and the snacks as well. So if you want to head downstairs, feel free to grab something first. If you want to head down or come up, it'll be open for a little bit longer too. So thank you all for coming.
He approached you. They didn't know what to do. That's okay. They'll all grow hair on their faces soon.
Called Charleston We're doing some on-the-ground market research because we're trying to develop an app that's going to really improve the value of networking events. So if you're, in a 100-person room and you're looking for Python developers, you shouldn't have to talk to other 99 people to get your developer. They should be matched up automatically.
Look at the video, it never hurt. So you're here for what reason?
Hello, I'm a student at ECPI University, and I'm here to network with other women in the technology industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a graduate, and I'm just trying to get the feel of different kind of fields in the network field.
So your degree is in what?
In cloud computing and security.
Woo, girl. God damn. Well, they said the nerds just keep getting prettier and prettier, damn it. What's your contribution to the game?
I'm a student at USC upstate, Spartanburg, and I'm a computer science major. Just trying to network.
Well, as you see, we've got Charleston Women in Technology. Baby, ain't nothing like it. Every month is something different. And you never know what the hell I'm going to put on the video. Breakout sessions. How the heck am I going to cover 2 breakout sessions at the same time?
You gotta bounce from one to the other.
Always. I never get the full info.
Oh no!
See, the last time we had a conversation with her, she was attending Iron Yard. She had put blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifice a whole lot to be part of the process. But now, honey, she done graduated. Give me them hands. Give me them hands. We exotic with it. Give me the hands. She done graduated. Y'all see this woman here? What the degree in? What you got? What you doing?
Engineering.
Woo! Break that down for those who don't know.
I create websites from scratch, from start to finish, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. When you click on a website, look at a picture, go to that domain, I create all of it.
Y'all better recognize. Now, you also working independently with these skills? Now, how can they reach you for them independent skills? Because there's always somebody who need to run, tell that, and get the word out. I ain't doing it. So you go ahead. I got your back.
You can reach me through my website. I'll give you that information. It's cecoh611@gmail.com.
You heard her. You know, y'all better recognize this thing works. Now, what have you gained through this?
Oh my goodness. I've gained confidence. I have gained just the ability to be financially independent, to work for someone else, have my own business, but also giving back, helping others. I also teach CodeCamp and help others. So it's a skill that's going to take me...
It goes on and on and on. You can take it anywhere. Now, how long did the process take?
The process of the Iron Yard took 3 months, but it's going to be ongoing. And that's a good thing, though, because I'm always going to be continually learning and kind of see what's out there and kind of being in the middle of the tech industry. So it's something that I'm big on continual education and improvement, and this is a field that...
Now, you came to this after working in what other fields?
I was actually in the steel industry. I worked at a steel mill for 10 years. It was very much a male-dominated industry, so coming into this wasn't kind of a shock. It wasn't, I was prepared for it, but I kind of got into IT, but I wasn't getting paid for it. So I found a love for it, and through the Women in Tech, I found the opportunity about the Iron Yard, and it just propelled from there. And what one of the speakers was saying, when you're walking in your divine destiny blessing, God has a plan for you. Everything just opens up, and doors have opened for me that I didn't even know were going to open.
So you do it again?
I would do it in a heartbeat.
And who would you recommend it to? You look at that young person who's coming out of high school who isn't too sure. They don't have the money for college. They may not be inclined for military, but they need something that's going to take them beyond just a paycheck. Because you seem to have found a career.
Right. I wanted a career. I would recommend this for anyone. I was 35 years old, already in the industry, and I started over. I quit my job. I lived off my savings for 3 months. So this is for someone who has a love for learning, who likes to be creative, who like a challenge, who likes to kind of tinker with things, and you have a creative tech-focused mind. So it's not just for high school students. If you want to start over, and like one of the ladies was saying, I didn't have a degree in tech. I was business management, but I was creative. I like kind of tinkering with computers, and the opportunity presented itself, and I jumped on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tech rocks, baby.
Thank you.